You might remember order of operations using the mnemonic device PEMDAS. So PEMDAS stands for parentheses. So the first thing that you do in order of operation is you need to do all the parentheses. So parentheses can look like grouping symbols like this, or you might see them with brackets, but you want to work in the innermost brackets. After parentheses, you do exponents. So exponents are the superscript numbers, such as 5 to the second power means you multiply 5 twice. After you do parentheses, then you do exponents. You're going to want to divide and multiply from left to right. So if multiplying comes first, left to right, then you multiply. If dividing comes first, left to right, then you divide. Same thing with add and subtract. You want to subtract and add last from left to right. So you just need to be careful to show your steps, and what I do is I underline the step that I'm doing first and write that number underneath and keep going. So this first one, remember you're going to do parentheses first, so you're going to do inside the parentheses, which is 7. Then I'm going to rewrite everything else around it. So I did parentheses. Now the next thing I'm going to do is exponent. So I'm going to underline the exponent part. 7 squared is 49. And then I'm going to rewrite 3 times 3. The next thing you need to do is divide and multiply from left to right. So here we have multiply. So this is going to be 49 minus 9. So the answer is 40, and you want to box your answer. So you need to show each step. Okay, make sure you're showing your work. So over here, examples. You need to divide first because that comes before adding and subtracting. So it's going to be 6 minus 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 6 minus 4 is 2. Second one, you want to do 3 times 6 first. 3 times 6 is 24. 24 minus 4 is 20. The next one, you want to do parentheses first. So you got to underline the parentheses. I'm going to rewrite the answer for both of these. So 13 minus 7 is 6 divided by 8 minus 5, which is 3. So I only have multiplication and division from left to right. So remember that if there's parentheses in between, you're multiplying. So I'm going to multiply 15 times 6. So 15 times 6 is 5 times 6 is 30. So then I got 1 times 6 is 6 plus 3 is 90. So it's 90 divided by 3. So that's 30. And then over here, I'm going to write 8 divided by, and then 9 minus 7 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then just with exponents, exponents means repeated multiplication. So if you have 2 to the 4th, it's not 2 times 4. It is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4, so that's 16. So exponents are repeated multiplication. So I'm going to do 4 times 2, which is 8, and then square it, because that's using order of operations. I'm doing the parentheses first. So 8 squared is 64. And this one I'm going to do parentheses. So that's 10. So it's 40 minus 5 squared plus 10 times 3. So 5 squared is 40 minus 25 plus 10 times 3. So I have to do 10 times 3 is 30. So it's 40 minus 25 plus 30. So 40 minus 25 is 15 plus 30. So this is going to be 45. And then down here, I included some common problems that people mess up with negatives. So I'm just going to go right to the solution side. So remember, when you plug in a negative number, you need to put it in parentheses. So if you have the opposite of x, and x is negative 2, the opposite of negative 2 is 2. X squared is going to be, remember, when you're plugging in negative, you need to put it in parentheses. So negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2, so that's positive 4. The third one is the opposite of negative 2 squared. So this is kind of tricky. So what we've done before is we said, oh, if there's two negatives, there's a positive. It makes a positive. However, order of operations is you have to do this exponent first. So this exponent is going to be negative 2 squared, which is positive 4, and then you're taking the opposite of it. So you can't just cancel out these negatives when this is stuck with the squared. So this is going to actually turn into negative 4. And then negative y squared is negative 4 squared. I don't need to put y in parentheses because it's not a negative number. So this is 4 squared, which is 16, and then take the opposite of it, which is negative 16. And then x, y squared. So I'm going to do the exponent, which is 16. 16 times negative 2 is negative 32. So you're only squaring the y here, not the x. And then the last one, you got y, which is 4, times, I'm putting x in parentheses, negative 2 squared. So 4 times 4 is 16. And then the last problem, the area of a trapezoid can be found using this formula. Find the area of a trapezoid with heights of 300 and bases of 250 feet and 170 feet. So I do area equals 1/2 the height, which is 300, times 250 plus 170. So I'm going to do the order of operations. So I'm going to do 250 plus 170. So 250, 25 plus 17 is 420. So because now you can order, when you do order of operations, you want to go from left to right if they're all multiplication. But however, multiplication is commutative. The order doesn't matter. So you can do 1/2 of 420 times 300 or 1/2 of 300 times 420. So I'm going to multiply 1/2 times 300 times 420. And I get 6, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we're talking about area, so it's feet squared. So that's my answer.